Of course, it's easy in hindsight to look back and say he shouldn't have done that. But Ali, should he have done that?
No. I mean, it was, to be fair, Jim had a good spot, and he saw him getting warmed up, ready to come on just before, maybe 3 or 4 minutes before the end of extra time, 5 minutes before the end of extra time. And Andy and I looked at each other and we kind of shook our heads. Now, I get what he's doing, I get what he's trying to do, but sometimes I think you can just attempt to be too clever, you know. Mendy, I don't think he'll maybe have another game like that in his life. He was absolutely fantastic. He really was. And I'm thinking to myself, out with the decision to bring Kepa on, right? I'm thinking to myself, right, he's made that decision because he feels clearly that he's a better option at saving penalties than Mendy. So he's entitled to make that decision. I wouldn't have made it just due to the fact Mendy, I thought, was having one of those games. And I said at half time, sometimes the writing's on the wall when you have a keeper playing like that. But I flipped the coin over, Woodsie, and I'm thinking to myself, what if I'm a Liverpool player? I'm ecstatic with that decision. I'm looking and I'm saying to myself, this is going to penalties. This guy effectively for 120 minutes has been unbeatable. There's every chance the afternoon, the evening he's having, that he's going to save a couple of penalty kicks. I think it gives the Liverpool players a boost. I really, really do. It was a decision, and you're right, we're sitting here with hindsight, because not only did he not save any penalties, he's missed the penalty that's cost your team the cup. So as decisions go, not only was it wrong, it was one of the poorest decisions that any coach will ever make, because in a move to try and win the cup, your goalkeeper actually, whether we like it or not, and you can have sympathy for him, but he costs you the cup.
Also, it's looking into the psychology of a situation like this, where I know Kepa has laid some of those ghosts to rest with the Carabao Cup, but coming off the bench cold into a situation like that, taking off a goalkeeper that knows how to win repeatedly now, did it AFCON, did it Champions League, FIFA best goalkeeper, kept a record equaling number of clean sheets in that Champions League run, I'm sure, as well, knows how to get over the line. There's something about the psychology of that situation. I'm no footballer, I have to say, obviously, but just even me watching on as a fan, like you say, having those players in the opposite team looking at that man in goal, surely that is a bigger threat to you than bringing Kepa cold off the bench, who even, I don't know, even looks sometimes a bit fragile to me. Like, just looks like, you know, like,
do you know what I'm going to
miss
say,
that penalty.
would you? And you'll know what I'm going to talk. What I'm talking about here. See, if I'm a Liverpool player going up to take that penalty, I think Mendy is a far more imposing goalkeeper to face than Kepa. And by that I mean, I think Mendy fills the goal. You know, Kepa was trying to do it in the penalty shootout. He's trying to get in the heads of the Liverpool players. Completely failed. I mean, forget that. Those Liverpool players were so focused, it was unbelievable. But in terms of a presence, if you look up and you see, I know who I'd rather see in front of me if I was going to take a penalty, and it ain't Mendy. And that's even out with the form that he was on in the particular 120 minutes. You
know what summed it up for me was Virgil van Dijk's penalty. So goes up to stand to take it. Kepa is standing slightly to the right in his goal. So that space to Kepa's right is a lot smaller than the gaping hole to Kepa's left. Virgil decides to go that way, absolutely batters it, and then stares him down as he walks off. That's not a keeper that you're afraid of, is it?
Anything but. You'd have to say, without going over the top, Van Dijk's reaction, it was as if he had contempt for him rather than fear.
Yeah.
So I've got to say to you, you're absolutely spot on what you're saying about that particular penalty, because Van Dijk just had no regard for any goalkeeper. He just ran up and smashed it, and it was the pace of the ball that beat him. So I've got to say, the quality of all the penalty kicks, right up to the last one, was brilliant.
Yeah,
really was. It was fantastic.
The guys on the show last night were having a debate, Jamie Redknapp and Jamie Carragher, and Jimmy Floyd was in the middle of it once again, just sitting there, just keeping quiet and smiling. And Jamie Redknapp was saying it's rubbish that you don't make that change. You keep Edouard Mendy on, you keep your best goalkeeper on. Doesn't matter if Kepa's a specialist. And Jamie Carragher was arguing the other way and saying, look, essentially, I guess he was saying, look, our goalkeeper, Callagher, didn't save a penalty otherwise either. But the thing is, you would almost, in this situation, even before it happened, because I was listening to you guys, you saw the change happening and you all were like, oh, we don't know if this is the right thing to do. You would have just backed, I think, Mendy to save one, perhaps, to get a hand to at least one of those, maybe.
But then, even to the extent, just what I've said to you, Woodsy, if Mendy's in those sticks, in between the sticks, I think there's a greater chance one of the Liverpool players takes a penalty like Kepa eventually took, because he's a more imposing goalkeeper.
Yeah.
So you're then thinking to yourself, right, I'm going to have to be exact. I know it sounds crazy, but there's a little bit more pressure. You think, this guy's a better goalkeeper, this guy's having the afternoon of his life. It then becomes, for me, a little bit more psychological, and I stand by it. If I'm a Liverpool player, I'm delighted with that change. You look at the afternoon that Mendy was having. It was unbeatable. It was phenomenal, some of the saves he was making. I mentioned the double save, the shot that he had. I think it was Kepa hit the original one. He gets down, and we've seen it a million times in training. That's all they do, keepers. Save up. And that's why they do it. So that's saving itself. But he was having one of those afternoons. So, as I say, it's the easiest thing in the world to say with hindsight. But was it a good move? No. It was a move that cost Chelsea the cup.
He'll lean on the Super Cup as an example, for example, for saying that, you know, that's why I'm doing this. But I'm with you, Ali. I don't know if any of those Liverpool players would have gone, well, look what happened in that situation, and he's a specialist, and therefore we're scared at the moment.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods, Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.